Hey, I'm Heather. First time with me? I'm the artist behind Heartkey Creations. Welcome. Today, we're gonna see how I created that pretty cheetah that you saw in the beginning of the video. I started out by covering my canvas with the phthalo cyan blue green shade, and mixed that with the golden iridescent color, so it's very shiny and kind of changes a little bit depending on how you're looking at it. It's still pretty blue, but it changes just a little. And then I went ahead and I did my outline of the cheetah in chalk, and as you could see in the beginning there, it was really just the outline of his body and where his eye goes and his nose and his mouth. I didn't go easy and put in any details at all because I probably wouldn't have paid attention to them anyway, and I was going to paint over it. And then I went ahead and put in that very light shade of, well, actually, I think it's just bleached titanium white. I don't even think I put any white. No, I mixed that in with a little bit of white and the bleached titanium white to make it a little bit lighter. And then I went in and you put a little bit more white in the bleached and put in where I wanted the whitest shades of his fur to be. And none of it is actually white. It's just either bleached titanium mixed with the white or the unbleached titanium. And then I went ahead and used the burnt umber to mark in where I was going to put his markings, and I pretty much just put them wherever I wanted to. And of course I am still blending with my fingers there, going in with some yellow in his eye. I did realize kind of later that I wasn't getting the look that I needed the shadow that I needed over the eye, and I ended up making the eye smaller and smaller, and before I realized that I just needed to just glaze over the top of the eye. And I finally did just glaze over the top of the eye, so that I could get that shadow that I wanted. And again, I'm using black, but all of my black is mixed with a purple, with the yeah, sure. That's really easy for me to say, can't you tell? The dioxanine. Yep, dioxanine. Purple. Yeah, that's what it's mixed with. That pretty purple that nobody can say. And I did the same thing actually with his spots too. I didn't use all browns and tans on him. And actually, there's no orange in his fur either. It's just tan and brown and purple. So right now I'm just going in and darkening up some of those shadow areas that I want. Playing with that eye some more. I play with that eye that whole time, because I just wasn't happy with it until like the very end, after I realized, glazing. Glazing's what I need. Mixing up something there, and I can't remember what it was that I was mixing up. It looks like a little oh, it looks like I mixed some purple with the gray. And then kind of went over the dark areas again. Kind of lightened up those dark areas, but still leaving them dark. And if you notice, for the white under his chin and the neck area, I actually let some of the blue show through from the canvas from the back of the canvas background. I decided I really kind of liked that look. It just helped pick up the reflections, and I didn't go too crazy with covering that area up. Now I'm putting the purple in my spots, and you see I put the purple in his muzzle too, and in his mouth. And cheetah spots are not all round, you know. The fur kind of makes them, they're just not round. They're crazy little shapes. You have to go with it and have fun with it. Kind of adding in those little hairs up on the top of his head as I go along. And again, for most of this painting, I use my number 6 bright that I just love so much. Lets me get the details that I want to and the coverage that I want. And this is a canvas that's a 9x12 canvas, actually. So it's not a huge painting, but it's the only thing that's there is the cheetah, so you kind of gotta be spot on. There's nothing to detract from it. And no, nothing's perfect, but when you're happy with it, that's what you need. It's your art. You're not gonna ever please everyone. You know, when you try and please everyone, never please anyone. The saying is true, very true. And I just went in there and added in some fur details, covered up some of those very dark areas. Just getting some fur. Look, it looks like there's fur, not just purple splat paints. And of course, the more I cover, the less it looks like fur areas. But it comes together in the end. I added a little bit of yellow to my titanium white, bleached titanium white, in order to get that color there. This whole painting took me a little over 4 hours to do. If I was able to work on it for just 4 hours, when I edited the video, it was about 4 hours worth of video that I had. And so I've sped up a lot of it, cut out most of these blank parts where I wasn't doing anything, but I guess I missed a couple, so that you guys didn't have to sit here and watch a 4-hour video with hardly any talking of what I'm doing, because I can't come up with 4 hours worth of conversation, can you? So I'm working on his lips there, which can be really weird and tough to do. You know, you're not really, lips are funny, I think, because you need a little bit of a shine to them, but if you go too crazy, then it doesn't look right. It just looks like a white spot instead of shine. In between here, like I had mentioned in one of my other paintings, I was having a problem with my battery constantly dying, and I only had one battery at the time. So apparently I didn't realize that my battery had died, and I kept working. So yeah, you got a little bit of fur there that you didn't get to see me put on. I don't remember what color that is. That is, it's a mixture of colors. I think it's the mixture of white, or of a little bit of yellow with my yellow. It's either yellow with burnt umber or raw umber. I think it's a little yellow with my raw umber. And I think that I said earlier that I was using burnt umber for the dark areas, but I believe that it was raw umber that I was using, not burnt umber. I'm just adding some details into his face, giving him some nice rich color in that fur. And again, with fur, you know, it's not paint each individual strand in, it's a clumps and clusters, clumps and clusters. That color would actually make a great tiger too. Kind of perfect. Maybe I'll have to do that sometime. And yep, there I go, blending with my finger again. I really have got to stop doing that. I have been working more with oils, and some of those paintings will be coming up, but in fact I might have to do those paintings in kind of like part 1 of and part 2 of, because oil paints take so long to dry in between layers that if I waited until it was completely done, I think it'd probably be like 6 months before I actually got a video out of an oil painting for you guys. So I have been doing some fluid painting with oils, which has been pretty interesting. I keep experimenting with that. I might get that down eventually, but in the meantime, we're just going to keep doing what we do now. I'm going to do my acrylic paintings and paint some realistic oils, or, well, actually right now I'm just kind of really having fun with the oils because I'm still learning how to use them. But I'll post those videos anyway because they're fun to watch sometimes. Going in with my highlights here and giving his face fur some real detail. He's starting to look kind of fluffy there. Don't you just want to pet him? Rework some of those spots and in between a couple different times until I get really happy with the way that they look in the end. It does take me a while to be happy with them, that's for sure. And again, too, you want to pay very close attention to the direction of your fur. If your fur is going sideways when it should be going straight up, that changes the whole position of your animal. So definitely, where the look of the animal, it changes it. It changes the painting. And it may not always be for the better. So just pay attention. If what you change works out, great. Otherwise, fix it. it can be fixed. Either wipe the paint away or wait for it to dry and paint over it. Going back in with my purple and darkening up those dark spots that I've lost a lot of as I went over with that raw umber and yellow mixture. There was probably a little bit of white in there too. I can't remember now. It was actually like a week and a half ago or something that I painted this, and I'm really just getting around to editing it out and doing the voiceover for it now. So I really don't remember exactly what my paint mixtures were. But I can tell you that that's the purple that nobody can say. I was half tempted to just leave that open space in his mouth without his tongue, because it just kind of, I don't know, I liked it, but I decided to put the tongue in anyway. But I didn't decide right there to put it in. I did end up getting new batteries so that I could always have batteries charged, because I found that it was really, really annoying to be in the middle of a painting and like be in a good creative space and then have my battery die and me have to stop because I'm doing this now for you guys. And so I made sure that I ordered some new batteries so that there could always be some charged, but they didn't come until the end of this project. So this project, even though I had only about 4 hours worth of video footage for it, it probably took me 6 or 7 days to finish. But some of that too is me just having to work a real job in between and pay my bills, you know? Unfortunately, can't sit here and draw and paint all day, as awesome as that would be. Of course, you know, I do have a Patreon. You guys could go over and help me out there too if you wanted to. It's not like you don't get anything out of it either. There's some rewards over there for you. And the more I grow over there, the better the rewards will get. Or you could just buy some art. That would be okay. Or just sit here and watch the videos. I'm happy with that though. I'm pretty easy to please. I'm fussing with that ear too much. Thankfully, I go back and fix it. Yeah, I even broke out the plastic palette to mix up paints on, to mix up colors. But it was a pretty basic color palette. I think, you know, I used the yellow, the raw umber, that purple, and the teeniest bit of red to make that pink, and white, and black. Yeah. So, you can get a lot of colors out of just like 5 colors. It's amazing. Trying to fix that eye now because I realized that I made it way too small when all I had to do was glaze. I almost lost the tooth in there. But if I did, I would have just gone in and painted it back out anyway, which I ended up having to kind of bring it back out. Even though I didn't lose it, it was kind of lost to sight there. Yeah, you guys can always let me know down in the comments if you want to see more paintings like this, or if there's something different that you guys would like to see, different genre, anything. You know, I'm pretty, I like to paint a wide variety of things. I get kind of bored doing the same thing over and over again. That's why I do fluid painting and the acrylic painting and the colored pencils. And now I'm starting to try the oil paint. I have done pastels. I don't really like them too much. I mean, they're okay, but I'm not a huge fan of them. I don't like having them all over my fingers or I don't even like wearing gloves all the time when I do stuff, but I would rather wear gloves than get cancer from the oil paints. And when I do pores, well, that's just too messy. But even using gloves with pastels, it feels still weird. So I don't like using pastels too very much, but I have used them and I can use them and I'd be willing to. But you guys need to let me know what it is that you'd like to see more of. I'm happy to accommodate that. I'd be happy to just hear from you. But going in and adding more highlights and details to his face. And you can see the difference that just the glazing made versus going in and making the eye smaller. Well, that wasn't very helpful. But the glazing gives me the shadow that I was looking for, that I didn't realize that I was looking for. Adding in those tiny little hairs to his face. And even these are kind of clumps and clusters. They're not even, individual. Well, maybe the ones around his eyes are, but most of these is a little clump here and cluster there, and a lot of this is a mostly dry brush. It's definitely not super wet. It's not dry, but it's a mostly dry brush. It helps allow for the layers and colors to dry more quickly so that you can work more quickly and give it the look that well, at least for me, the look that I'm going for faster. Going in and adding the lighter parts of his fur, the fur on his back, and making sure that that kind of goes in the right direction so that it looks like it's standing up in spots. And yeah, my camera is autofocus, So every time I move, it tries to focus in on something else. So I'm gonna have to see if I can do something better about that too. I know that at this point I felt like I could fuss with this thing for the rest of my life and the fur and just keep making it more and more. I felt like I could add 1,001 layers on here and never have been happy with it. So in the end, when I finally added that last layer, I decided, hey, you know what? I am happy with this. So that was good. Because there's nothing like putting hours and hours and effort into something only to realize that you hate what you just finished. Turns out I loved what I finished. If I hated it, I still would have shared it with you. And I would have told you why I hated it. But yay, it's a good cheetah. Just going in and adding those final coats of glaze over his eye there. And I used a little bit of the basic black. Yeah, I wanted a more translucent black on his nose just to outline it a little bit better and give that a little more detail better. So it was almost like a black glaze instead of, because glazing it with the purple wasn't gonna work. I had already tried that and it just wasn't working, so I pulled out the Liquitex Basic Black and kind of went over, just outlined that nose detail a little bit more. But that's it, guys. So I hope you liked it. If you did, please share it, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time.